WrestleMania 40 is finally here, and it's set to be the biggest WrestleMania in history. I'm going to make some predictions here, but I'm also going to answer the question, was I wrong about The Rock? Did he actually save WrestleMania? And I'm actually going to start with that match, Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. Now, personally, I don't think WrestleMania needed saving. I mean, had they booked Io versus Bayley a lot better, Drew versus Seth if it had its own booking without The Rock being here, and of course Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley, had they booked all of those matches a lot better, had the build to those matches been better, I think that we would have had 3 main events worthy title matches. And in that sense, I don't think WrestleMania needed saving because, yes, Brock Lesnar and CM Punk can't be on the show. CM Punk is going to be on commentary, which is going to be really fun, but we all know why Brock Lesnar can't be at WrestleMania. So personally, I don't think WrestleMania needed saving. There's so much star power in Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and Drew McIntyre is doing some of the best work he's ever done in his career right now. So we have this match, and I can sit here and say that WWE should have or would have or could have done this, but it's not going to change the fact that even though I don't think WrestleMania needed saving, The Rock has made WrestleMania far more interesting. And the reason I'm saying this is because we're never really going to know what the original build for Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes in 2024 was ever going to be. But what we do know is that this build was pretty interesting. I mean, we had The Rock pretty much completely destroying Seth and Cody on the mic and literally with a weight belt or throwing Cody into a bus, and he actually made Cody bleed. The Rock has made this interesting because he's brought back Hollywood Rock. He has a pretty good new theme song and entrance, and like I said, he's actually just destroyed Cody and Seth on multiple occasions now. I think we need to stack as many cards against the baby faces as we possibly can. So in this match we should have a Drew McIntyre interference. And with Drew McIntyre, this should be just because he's trying to preserve his main events as much as humanly possible. And then we should have Solo Sikoa interfering, Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso both trying to help their respective teams. I think that this is the time to make this as chaotic as humanly possible. And it should end with The Rock pinning Cody Rhodes. If we're stacking every single card we have against the baby faces, then Night 2 should be Bloodline Rules. Cody should have every single card stacked against him and everything against him so that you can build the best babyface possible. And the way you do that is by having them defy every single odd against them. So Cody should have everything against him. It should be Bloodline Rules and then have Cody overcome that and win the title. So I think The Rock is going to pin Cody Rhodes, and then Night 2 is going to be Bloodline Rules. Onto something a little bit more fun, and it's Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominik Mysterio. My big question here is, why is this not just Legado del Fantasma versus the LWO? You can still include Dominik Mysterio into this because Legado del Fantasma will still be one member down whether you add in Dragon Lee or not. You could actually just have Legado del Fantasma and Dominik Mysterio versus the LWO, and Dragon Lee could still be involved. Carlito doesn't necessarily need that match, so it could happen. And I mean, they're giving us Zelina Vega versus Elektra Lopez anyway. That's gonna happen on SmackDown. So why not just have faction warfare at WrestleMania? I guess this is a way for Rey Mysterio to help showcase Dragon Lee because he's given Dragon Lee so much credit since he debuted. So I think this is just a really nice way for Rey Mysterio to kind of mentor Dragon Lee and help him get over in a sense. And unfortunately this is at the expense of Santos Escobar and Dominik Mysterio. But I think it's still going to be a really, really fun, fast-paced, high-flying, action-packed match. And Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee will probably win this match. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament. Can someone please tell me why Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits still don't have a faction name? So I have quite a few pet peeves in wrestling, and one of them is when you have a faction or you have a tag team for a very long time and they still don't have a faction name or a tag team name. Like Kate and Cross and Katana Chance. They should have a tag team name by now. I mean, they've been together for like 5 years. They should already have a tag team name. But anyway, yeah, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. I think that there's a lot more story that needs to be told here. There's been a bit of a decent build here. AOP versus the Street Profits, and that was a pretty good match. And it's a Philadelphia street fight. So knowing WWE, there's going to be a lot of fun spots. There's going to be some brawling in the crowd. And the Street Profits will probably have a Philadelphia sports team jersey. So I think it's going to be really fun, but I don't think the feud ends here. I think this is going to be a win for the Final Testament that they so sorely need. Like, the Final Testaments really need a win to get put over as this really extreme, really menacing heel faction. I think Final Testament need this win, and I'm going with the Final Testament winning this match. If there was ever a match that I don't know what's going to happen in, it's Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso. I have no idea how this should go. Now, it's also the first WrestleMania match that is twin versus twin, and the Bella Twins did have a match, but I think it was like who's going to be the Bella Butler. So it wasn't a WrestleMania match, but it was twin versus twin. And we've had 2 other brother versus brother matches with Bret Hart and Owen Hart, as well as the Hardy brothers. So they are in a way making history, and this is going to be a really fun match. I think this match should cement Jey Uso as the next big singles star. I think that he really should win this match and become a singles competitor of note. And then by Survivor Series, he should win a mid-card title. I know that this is Jimmy and Jay's dream match to have twin versus twin. I think that this is going to be a really great match, and I'm going for Jey Uso winning this match. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. And to me, this has been a very lukewarm feud. It doesn't feel like it's the caliber of an AJ Styles LA Knight match. I mean, they're both main events quality wrestlers. I like that AJ Styles attacked LA Knight inside the Elimination Chamber. I think that was really good, but they haven't really built anything up since then. Very strange build to this match. I mean, we did have that whole thing of LA Knight getting arrested because he attacked AJ outside of his own home, but they didn't build on that. They didn't do anything after that that was really noteworthy. I think AJ Styles should win this match. It is kind of his return match, and it should solidify him as the next top heel. And if Cody does win and he moves to SmackDown, Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles is going to be incredible. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi versus Damage Control. This match should be absolutely awesome. We have 2 absolute powerhouses in Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. So if they're just going to have power spot after power spots and then pretty much just throwing Damage Control around, I'm not going to be mad at it. I think this is really good. The only thing I am upset about is that the Kabuki Warriors are not defending their titles at WrestleMania. If there is one thing that I think should happen at pay-per-views, especially Big 4 pay-per-views, it's that titles should be defended. I'm really upset with how they're treating these titles. Like, the Kabuki Warriors deserve better, and those titles deserve so much better. But I think if we're starting a bit more of a female faction warfare, this is the way to do it. Jade, Bianca, and Naomi would be so awesome as a faction. So I'm thinking Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi should win this match. Speaking of Damage Control, we're moving on to Bayley versus Io Sky for the WWE Women's Championship. Again, they deserve so much better. They deserve a better build. They deserve to be on posters, and they 100% deserve to main event WrestleMania. I expected so much more from this build, that this should have been the serious feud going into WrestleMania, because Io Sky betrayed Bayley. This is the story that has so much betrayal, so much emotion going into it. They should have been lifelong friends. So they should have put a lot more time, a lot more emotion, a lot more empathy for Bayley into this feud. And they should have built it so much better. Instead, it kind of feels lukewarm. I mean, it was a nice touch of having Dakota Kai betray Bayley twice, in a sense that she didn't stop the damage control attack initially, and then she said she's with Bayley, but she wasn't actually with Bayley. Yeah, I mean, that was a nice touch, but so much more could have gone into this feud. With that being said, I think that it's time that we crown a bunch of new champions, because it feels like Io also didn't do too much with this title. I think Bayley should be the one that builds this into a main event title that is deserving of having a good champion. So personally, for me, Bayley is the person to do this, and Bayley should win the title from Io Sky here. It's also going to be a really nice feel-good babyface moment. Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens, and this is for the United States title. If that pride bottle in the middle of the ring is the first thing I see, it's just going to sour my mood on WrestleMania, because WrestleMania does feel like a big deal this year, but that pride bottle is going to make it feel like a joke. I sincerely hope that we're only going to see the pride bottle in the middle of this ring printed onto the canvas for this match. In all honesty, it feels very tacky, so they should just say this match is sponsored by Pride and have the Pride logo on the sides of the ring, on the screens up in the crowd. Perfect place to have the Prime logo, not in the middle of the ring. The fact that we have that United States title on every episode of Impulsive, and everything that Logan Paul does, he has the United States title with him. I think it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal that Logan Paul is the United States champion. And him now being full-time means that there is a chance that he's going to win this match and retain the United States Championship. As much as I would love to see Randy Orton win the United States Championship here, I have a feeling Logan Paul is retaining. So I actually think Logan Paul will retain the United States title here. The Intercontinental Championship. So this is Gunther versus Sami Zayn. And every single part of me feels like Chad Gable should be in this match. If there was ever anyone who deserves a singles title and a really good singles title run, I think it's Chad Gable. As much as I would love to see Sami Zayn win another mid-card title, I think it's Chad's time. I think Chad should be the one to beat Gunther's streak, especially because I think that the end of Gunther's reign should put over someone completely new to the singles title scene. So I don't think Sami is the person to do it. I think that it should be a Chad Gable or someone completely new, a Braun Breaker. I love Sami Zayn and there's nothing against him. I think he's going to have an incredible match with Gunther, but I don't think he's the one who should break Gunther's streak. I think it should be Chad Gable. So for that reason, I think that we should give Gunther the 2-year streak, and I think Gunther should retain the Intercontinental Championship. The Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship 6-pack tag team ladder match. We have the Judgment Day, Awesome Truth, New Catch Republic, DIY, New Day, and Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and I still think they should be called A-Town Down Under. So on Monday Night Raw's Go Home show, Michael Cole actually said this match will not end until both sets of titles have been retrieved. So that makes me think that they're either going to have the titles on 2 different hooks, or this is kind of going to be their way of splitting the titles. And in all honesty, if they are splitting the titles, it'll be really nice to have a SmackDown team go home with those titles to SmackDown, and to have Judgment Day retain the Raw Tag Team titles. So in my mind, I think a better way they could have done this was to say that Judgment Day are only defending 1 set of titles, or to have them pull double duty, just have them defend the titles in 2 separate matches. So, I mean, if you think about it, let's say Judgment Day do retain and they only grab the Raw Tag Team titles. If they've grabbed it first, they're not going to get the celebration they deserve for retaining the titles. They're actually just going to have the match carry on, and then another team is probably going to grab the titles from there. It just feels very weird to me. Like, it shouldn't be happening that way. So I'm going with Judgment Day either retains everything, or Judgment Day win the Raw titles and New Catch Republic win the SmackDown titles. The Women's World Championship, and this is Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Again, I wish that we got a better build for this match. I mean, we've seen them in multiple face-to-face confrontations, but that's pretty much all that they've done. I would have really loved for Rhea to do more with the title. I think that she should have actually defended it more often, been a dominant champion, and then gotten this title over as the women's workhorse title. So I am a little disappointed that Rhea didn't get the opportunity to do more with this title. Becky Lynch just has this way of bringing out star quality in everyone that she wrestles. I mean, her match with Tiffany Stratton was the first match where I watched Tiffany and I was like, Tiffany has it. Tiffany Stratton is brilliant. And that was thanks to Becky Lynch. So to be honest, I think Becky Lynch is the one that is able to create stars in the women's division, and I think that she can actually use this title to really put over some new talent and to really make the title feel more worth it, and to make the women's world title a main event caliber title. Unfortunately, Rhea Ripley didn't get that opportunity. I think Rhea could also have put over so many more people and really just elevated the women's division, but she didn't get the chance to. So I think Becky Lynch will elevate the women's division and she'll really make this a title that's worth having. So Becky Lynch should win the women's world title here. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth has done everything he could to make this title feel like a big deal. Out of every single match, this is the match that I'm most torn about. And it's purely because of Damian Priest and the Money in the Bank briefcase. So once again, Damian Priest teases a cash in by saying, this is a big weekend for the Judgment Day as a group as well as individuals. I am so tired. I am so tired. Like, Damian Priest either needs to just lose that briefcase or he needs to cash in, because he's teased that cash in over and over and over again, and every single time he hasn't been able to cash in successfully. He needs to actually make a definitive decision and cash in. I'm actually just so tired of Money in the Bank. It used to be a really fun concept that was game changing. It was a really nice heel tactic and a really nice way for heels to win the title. But now it's kind of just I mean, Io Sky was great. She didn't really tease the briefcase, but you always knew that the briefcase was there. And then she cashed in, and it was really cool. Damian Priest and his run with this briefcase has just been exhausting. He just needs to make a decision and cash in, and I hope that he does it soon, and there's no better moment than at WrestleMania. My thinking is, have Seth Rollins retain. So have him beat the odds by having him get beat up on night 1 by Roman and The Rock, and then on night 2, get beat up again by Drew McIntyre, but defy the odds and retain his title. And then that sets up for Damian Priest to cash in either at WrestleMania or on Monday Night Raw. The final match for WrestleMania, and it's also the biggest main event for WrestleMania. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And I think after Cody wins, yes, I do think Cody should still win this title, we should just call it the WWE Championship. This feels like the last chance for Cody Rhodes to finish the story. I would really love for Cody to just finish the story here, especially when all the cards are stacked against him. Have bloodline rules, have Cody defy all the odds and win the title here. By having him win, you can start adding more layers to his character, because currently Cody feels very one-dimensional. It's all just about finishing the story, getting the title, handing the title to his mom. It all feels very one-dimensional. If we have Cody Rhodes finally win this title, we can start adding some layers to the story. We can start adding some layers to him and to his character. And then Roman Reigns can finally go on to do something else, because we'll have a fighting champion in Cody Rhodes. There's no way that Cody's not going to be a workhorse champion. And then Roman can go on to facing The Rock, or building another element onto the bloodline story. Because where does Roman Reigns go once he's no longer the champion? Does he actually retire? That's an interesting layer to the bloodline story. So we can start adding more things to both stories once Cody wins the championship. My final pick is Cody Rhodes will finish the story and win the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Those are my predictions for WrestleMania XL / WrestleMania 40. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Which match are you looking forward to the most? Who do you think is going to win? And as always, be mindful and be kind.